Audio check 1 2 3. Audio check 1 2 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel for round 8 of the GT4 Championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. It's coming to crunch time at this part of the season. 5 rounds left, including tonight. We're at Spa-Francorchamps, which we know is always a pretty exciting track. Always throws up a few unexpected dramas and who knows, maybe even a few thrills and spills here and there. We've got Marty in the comments already saying go Freeman, go Cod, go Duran DJC. Marty Road Racing is life. Unable to make tonight's race, which is a real shame because he's obviously flying high in the title race and is very much in the hunt for 3rd place in the standings, along with a couple of other guys in the league. So obviously it's a real shame to have lost Marty for this round, but he's getting behind his teammates for tonight. We've got Game for Life also in the comments there saying good luck to everybody. Guitar Rich says hey Andy, hello mate. Good to have Guitar Rich in the comments as well. Obviously 3 different guys, all races here in the Motive Racing League. You've got Marty who races in this GT4 league, but obviously can't make it this week. You've got Game for Life who's the F1 Championship leader on a Friday night on the Codemasters Formula 1 game here at Motive, and Guitar Rich races sporadically in our Project Cars 2 leagues when he can, and always is in the comments supporting his good friend John Jig. So good to see John Jig has got a fan in the chat. And guys, let us know in the comments section who your money's on tonight. Who do we fancy for the race win? Who are we looking at to deliver the goods? As we've got 14 drivers out on the track. Currently Freeman the fastest man. Only 3 drivers have set a time yet. Only Freeman, Duke, Martin and Windsor have set a time so far in this session, but the times are going to come in thick and fast, and we're going to see lap times improving as this session goes on. So we'll see how this qualifying session evolves and how we and obviously what sort of times get on the board. I imagine a 2:32s might be the pole time. I think last season we saw a 2:32 maybe coming in from a couple of drivers. I don't know actually. I think Standard Control might have been. I think it might have been Standard Control who got the win here at Spa last season in the GT4s. It's a while ago now, to be fair, so not 100% sure, but I'm sure we got some 2:32s last season here in the GT4s. But nonetheless, we're going to pull up the championship standings for the GT4s so far this season, and just so we got a bit of an idea of what we're working with here, so we can give a bit of background, extra flavour into what we're talking about, which is always good and always needed, in terms of giving the viewers just that little kind of idea of what's happening in the championship. So the GT4s coming into round 8 of the season after 7 rounds of the season, obviously 7 rounds of 12 so far in this. So they're coming into the back sort of part of the season now, and we're just waiting for this to load up. It's just taking his sweet time about it, but it's finally loading up now. So yeah, Cheese Monkey still the championship leader, but Freeman's really coming for him. This man here, Cheese Monkey, driving in the number 1 Ginetta, is the reigning champion. As we said, he's also the championship leader, and he leads the championship by 13 points, having taken 3 wins so far this season, but hasn't won for a couple of races now. Got a 3rd in Hungary and a 2nd last week in Britain at Silverstone. So his last win was a win at Catalonia back in round 5 of the season. So it's been 3 weeks actually since Cheese Monkey last got a win, because obviously we missed a week as well. So yeah, he's really going to want to break that duck, so to speak. In fact, no, will be 4 weeks today, even 4 weeks today since Cheese Monkey got a win here at Motive. So it's almost a month since he stood on the top step, and I'm sure the championship leader will be looking to try and get back on to the winning ways here. And we saw him looking pretty quick in the practice session as well a few moments ago. I think he might have been the quickest man in the practice session. So Cheese Monkey, as we know, leading the championship, wants to defend that title, has got work to do. But Freeman really coming for him in the championship standings as of late. Last couple of rounds he's taken big chunks out of Cheese Monkey. Took the win last time out at Silverstone, and also took a 2nd place in Hungary. He's going to want to keep going on that trail if he is going to keep bringing that gap down to Cheese Monkey. He's currently the fastest man in this qualifying session, the only driver to have dipped into the 2:32s, not 1:32s. Jesus Christ, what's he in, an airplane? No, it's 2:32s there for Freeman, as we see SMT Morphy jumping in the session, the only driver who wasn't here I think that we were expecting tonight. So I think we've got 15 cars out on the grid now. That should be enough. So yeah, as we said, Cheese Monkey in the championship. This is Freeman, currently fastest man in this qualifying session, 13 points behind him, 386 points for Cheese Monkey, 373 for Freeman. Then it's Marty Rowe racing in third on 301. He's not here tonight. Likewise Quideo, so third and fourth places both not here for tonight's race. 25 points separating them on 301 and 276 respectively. Then you got John Jig, who's got a big opportunity tonight, running in fifth in the standings at the moment on 241 even. 241 points for John Jig, who's had a bit of an inconsistent season. He's had some very strong qualifying sessions, but in the races things just don't seem to go to plan for him. He's had rotten luck on the first laps as John Jig. He's had, I think, 2 pole positions this season, and it's always seemed to have gone a bit Pete Tong for him, so I'm sure John Jig will be wanting to right those wrongs. He's in P3 at the moment in this session, but Freeman and Xander Flander looking very, very strong in this qualifying session. I've got to say, those two are the only ones currently about 2 seconds clear of John Jig, so big gap from the top two down to the rest, to say the least. So John Jig in fifth in the standings. Xander Flander is in sixth in the championship at the moment. He's on 219 points, 167 behind Cheese Monkey. You've got Duke Martin sat in P7 in the standings, as he's driving in that number 6, Aston Martin, his trademark Aston Martin there. 7th in the championship standings for him. The Lazy Camel in 8th in the standings. He is on 161 points. You've got Nilsson in 9th on 151, followed by Pete Bibb, who is sat on 142. King Quinn in 11th place in the championship on 118 points. He's in 9th place at the moment in this qualifying session. You've got Snooky sat in 12th in the standings, and he is on 109 points, followed by Kodalungu on 93. Lightblade on 66, not here this week. Obviously was a reserve the last couple of weeks. Cady sat in 15th in the standings because he's only made one race, but that was a race win. So Cady turned up to one race, won it, and since then we haven't seen him. He's sat in P15 in the standings. Windsor in 16th in the standings. He's 13th in this qualifying session at the moment. He sat on 51 points. SMT Maroon in 17th on 45 points, followed by Zaloba on 35. Idris in 18th and 19th even, and Evan IRL in 20th in the championship standings. So that's your championship standings here, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight. We've got Freeman currently sat on provisional pole though on 232.4. He's 2/10 clear of Cheese Monkey, the two championship contenders, looking pretty close tonight, but Freeman seems to definitely be on the pace at the moment as he's coming in towards the bus stop. This will be his penultimate run, as he will only get one more run after this, due to the fact that we are now under a lap away from the checkered flag being rolled out. And Freeman comes over the line, doesn't improve on his 232.4 so far. Cheese Monkey obviously 2/10 off of him at the moment. We've got a few comments rolling in on the stream at the moment. Obviously we had Marty, Game for Life and Guitar Rich in the early stages of the session. I've also got JR as well. JR saying, come on my boys, team run DJC baby. Not racing Marty, got grid sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, looks like it. Quite a few, 7 Mercedes out there tonight. Almost half the grid. Got 3 Ginettas, got 2 BMWs and a solitary Audi, and a couple of Aston Martins as well. So obviously, so yeah, it's a couple of very patriotic non-Brits, and a BMW, a couple of BMWs, a couple, 3 Ginettas. So that's good to see. The rest are obviously Mercs, but yeah, at the moment Cheese Monkey's got pretty close to the fastest time being set by Freeman. Look at that, only a 1/10 of a second off of that time, so that is really impressive stuff from Cheese Monkey, getting that close to Freeman on a track which I wouldn't expect the Ginetta to be so strong. I mean, the middle sector's going to suit it for sure, but down the Kemmel Straight and up towards the bus stop chicane, the run through Blanchemont up towards the bus stop, I would imagine it's probably going to struggle a little bit. It probably tops out coming down the Kemmel Straight, so it's definitely going to be found wanting a little bit down that part of the track. But at the moment Cheese Monkey's doing a good job getting within a 1/10 of Freeman. Freeman's coming through the middle sector of the lap now. He's just coming out on the exit of coming in towards campus. As we see Cheese Monkey, Xander Flander and John Jig all in the pits. Kodalungu's out there right now. He's coming out of the bus stop chicane. Let's see what Kodalungu can put on the board here. Can he get himself a little bit closer. He does improve by 0.4 of a second, but he's still 2.7 seconds off of the fastest time being set by Freeman. You've got Pete Bibb out there at the moment, just coming in towards the final sector of the lap. He's sat in 6th in this qualifying standings at the moment, as he's got a couple of corners left to go. You've got Duke Martin in the pits, as is Snooky. Nilsson and the Lazy Camel both out there at the moment. We've got another comment coming in, but it hasn't appeared on my screen yet. There we go. JR says Freeman with Cod for rear gunner tonight. Yeah, absolutely, but he's down in P5, JR, at the moment. He's a long way off. The actual time gap between Codalunga and the front runners is quite substantial, to be fair. It's looking very much to me at this stage in the qualifying session, and we are at the end of the qualifying session almost. It's looking very much like Freeman and Cheese Monkey and Xander Flander maybe are kind of just going to be in their own battle here. Jogic and Codalunga are a long way off in 5th and 6th places, so it's difficult for me to see anything other than Freeman and Cheese Monkey and running away with this. Maybe Xander Flander might be able to hold on in that slipstream, who knows. But we're currently seeing Codalunga coming through just ending the first sector in towards the middle sector. You've got Pete Bibb, who's done for the session. He's hit the checker flag. Duke Martin looks like he's going to start this one in 7th, unless the Lazy Camel can find time. No, he can't. He's parked up by the track. Cheese Monkey didn't improve. He stays in P2. Looks as though Freeman's going to take pole here. Windsor's still out there on the track, and he's just coming in towards the bus stop now, so he'll be crossing the line just before Codalunga does. SMT Morphe still hasn't set a time yet. He's coming through the middle sector now. But here comes Windsor up towards the line, and let's see what he can put on the board here as he crosses over now. And Windsor, it doesn't improve, stays in P13. Did improve his lap time, but didn't improve his position. Looks like that's going to be that for the session then. So unless any of these other guys out on the track can improve in the very, very closing stages of this session. Let's see what Codalunga's up to as he's coming up through Stavilo, I think. I don't know, the cameraman's just messing about here, so I think he must have retired to the pits. I think that's his session done. So yeah, I think that's going to be that then. So it's going to be Freeman starting this one on pole, ahead of Cheese Monkey, lining up alongside him on the front row in 2nd place. You've got Xander Flander and Donjig on the 2nd row in 3rd and 4th, followed by Codalunga and Pete Bibb. Then Duke Martin, Snooky, the Lazy Camel, and Nilsson competing in the top 10. Then it's going to be King Quinn, Evan IRL, Windsor and Zaloba, and SMT Morphe will be lining at the back in 15th place. 15 drivers out on the grid tonight, missing a couple, but still a decent turnout for tonight. We got lots of people in the chat here. We got JR and also Marty. We got Guitar Rich also in Game for Life, and JR there saying P2 is not the worst place to start here at Spa. To be honest, it's pretty good because you've got the inside for La Source, and La Source is a big overtaking spot for sure here at Spa. So, oh no, hold on, I just realised. I just realised the starting grid will be up towards Eau Rouge, so you actually line up out past La Source. And thinking about it, it's probably because of the nature of the GT cars, it's probably a little bit of a recipe for disaster having the first corner as the source. So it makes sense that you jump straight into Eau Rouge. I just realised that, just literally clocked just there and then. But Marty says that Marty says to JR, I'm on holiday and I'm away from home. Freeman needs his elbows and knees out tonight for sure, says JR. Didn't realise that he was away on holiday. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. We're going to miss you out there. Show some love to the GT4s and press the like button. Absolutely, guys. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Show your appreciation for the drivers out on the track as we're a couple of minutes away from the start of the race. They're obviously just making their final adjustments to the setup. So then we're going to have a formation lap, and then we'll be off and going once again. Guitar Rich echoing the sentiments of JR, wishing Marty happy holidays. Absolutely, hopefully he's enjoying himself and hopefully not missing the racing too much wherever he is. Let us know where you gone, Marty. Where have you gone off to? Because obviously it's always good to know where people are taking their holidays. I believe it's not the best time to go on holiday at this time of year. It's usually a bit cold, but if it's the southern hemisphere it can be quite nice, I suppose, or if it's Spain or somewhere tropical, then also it can be quite enjoyable. We've got JR saying there, they all put you in a lot of work. I know our guys do, so I assume they all do. Appreciate them with a +1. 100%, mate, 100%. Could not agree more. with that one. Just over a minute left to go here until the start of the race. Drop your predictions in. Tell us who you think is going to take the win here tonight at Spa for the GT4s. It's obviously round 8 of the season. Been through the championship standings before, but I will go through just very, very quickly whilst we're on this formation lap. So Cheese Monkey leads the way on 386 points, from Freeman in second on 373. Then you got Marty Road Racing in third in the title standings on 301. He's not here this evening. He will not be taking part in this evening's proceedings. We've got Quadeo in fourth in the standings on 276, followed by John Jig in fifth on 241. Then you got Xander Flander in sixth on 219 points, followed by Duke Martin on 181 in seventh place. The Lazy Camel sits eighth on 161 points, followed by Nilsson on 151. Pete Bibb sits in the final top 10 spot on 142 points, followed by King Quinn on 118 in 11th, and Snooky on 109 in 12th place, followed by Coddlingle on 93 in 13th. Lightblade, our perennial reserve for this season, is in 14th in the standings on 66 points. Then Cady on 60, who's in 15th place, has got one solitary win to his name in this GT4 championship and has not made any other appearances in the league. Then you got Windsor in 16th place on 51 points, followed by Maroon, SMT Maroon on 45 in 17th. SMT Zaloba in 18th place on 35 points, followed by Idris in 19th on also 35 points, and Evan IRL following him on 20 points in 20th spot in the title. So here we are then, guys, just on a formation lap, just coming through Eau Rouge. These guys not a racing speed, I don't believe, at the moment, but we will obviously be going racing in a lap or so's time. So Freeman doing an excellent lap there in the qualifying session, only a tenth of a second between himself and Cheese Monkey in that session, so it's pretty nip and tuck between those two, the two championship contenders. Obviously Cheese Monkey comes into this with a 13-point gap, but if he can, Freeman looks like he's got pace, but if Cheese Monkey can follow him home, then he'll keep Freeman really pushing and really guessing in his quest to try and close that gap. Freeman has gained points on Cheese Monkey in each of the last two races, both at Hungary, where he finished second compared to Cheese Monkey in third, and obviously last time out at Silverstone, Freeman managed to take the win and Cheese Monkey followed him home in second place. So far this season, Cheese Monkey took the opening round of the season at Paul Ricard with a great little battle with Quadeo throughout the race. Cheese Monkey ended up coming out on top and putting out the gap towards the end of that race. Freeman was fourth in that opening round, and then obviously we had the race at Zolder, which is also in Belgium, such as we are at Spa right now. And Freeman did come in second, but he received a points deduction in that one for collision with Xander Flander, so that has obviously knocked his total down by quite a bit. But then since then we've really seen a resurgence from Freeman. We've seen a much stronger driver coming out of that little setback. Over the 5 races since then, obviously from round 3 all the way through to round 7, we've seen Freeman outscore Cheese Monkey at 4 of the last 5 races. He got a second in Australia at Bathurst, compared to Cheese Monkey coming 4th in that one. Cheese Monkey was out of sorts in that one, which is a bit of a surprise when you consider that he took the win at Bathurst when it was the penultimate round of the season last season. But this season he had a bit of a shocker. And then obviously Japan, Suzuka, we saw Freeman take the win. Cheese Monkey came second in the wet. We saw Cheese Monkey take a win at Catalunya, or Barcelona as it's known on ACC, compared to Freeman coming in second. That was the one race in the last 5 races where Cheese Monkey has finished ahead of Freeman. Freeman has been on such a sizzling run of form, and he reignited that at Hungary with a second compared to Cheese Monkey's 3rd place. And then last time out at Silverstone, Freeman took the win for round 7 of the season, and he also took pole position as well, so he picked up the bonus point for that one. So yeah, he's looking very much very strong over these last few rounds, taking pole position here tonight, but it's very close between the front two, just a tenth of a second as we said. And Cheese Monkey always seems to go pretty well in the races compared to qualifying, so that bodes well for him, with the gap only being about a tenth of a second in the qualifying session a few moments ago. Freeman, always a man who goes well in the qualifying sessions, but he's very solid in the race as well. But here we are, we're coming out of Blanchimont, up towards Blanchimont, towards the final part of the lap. We've got obviously Guitar Rich, JR and Marty in the comments here. Was there any penalties from last week? I don't believe so, guys, because I think I believe that Marty didn't put in an inquiry on it. I know that there was talk about it, and obviously it looked a little bit sketchy at the time, but I don't think there were any inquiries put in. So as far as I know, no penalties were put in. As far as I know, I could be wrong on that. I don't actually do the standings myself. That's Will Freeman who sorts out the standings. He's one of our admins and our moderators, and also our standings man. He does that a little bit, so I'm not 100% guys on that one, to be fair. JR reckons that Freeman's going to get the win. Cod to smash his way to P2, and Cheese Monkey to run out of fuel, says JR. That could be a bit of a fortune teller remark there from JR. Who knows what we're going to see. I've got to remember that this isn't the start of the race, ladies and gentlemen. I've made this mistake on Sunday night when we raced the GT3s here. I thought they were about to start the race and didn't realise until they basically crossed over the line. I was getting all excited thinking, oh yeah, this is the start of the race. This isn't the start of the race. They go around La Source and then the race starts on that straight which leads up towards El Rouge. We do not start here. We start around the corner from here. Obviously the GT start is different from the F1 start and from other single-seater formulas such as F1. This one, they come round La Source, and this is effectively the last corner on the formation lap. But then, just to make it even more confusing, once we're racing, the end of the lap is officially down that the other start finish straight. So just to make it a little bit more confusing, you finish the race on the start finish straight before this, so the last corner is the bus stop, but then on the formation laps the last corner is La Source. Yep, I know it's difficult to understand, I know, I don't know why, I don't make the rules, but here we go. We are racing green here at Spa, and Freeman is going to lead us up towards turn 1. Manages to keep on ahead of Cheese Monkey there, as we've got Xanderfan in the background there. John Jig trying to defend from Codalungas. Codalungas looking pretty quick out of the blocks here, as now we've also got Pete Bibb, Duke Martin, Snooky the Lazy Camel, Nilsson, Kinquin. Looks like we're all clean up through El Rouge and Radian on the first lap, as Evan IRL's it over, and Morphe, no, Morphe's had a mistake there coming through El Rouge, and he's really dropped back there. He's dropped well off the back of the pack here, as Cheese Monkey's having a little look to the inside on Freeman coming in towards Lacombe. Can't get anything done at the moment. We've got Xanderfander still running just behind these guys at the moment. He's dropped back a little bit here already in these early stages. John Jig running in 4th place at the moment. Pete Bibb there in 5th, and Snooky 6th. Codalungu's down to 7th place. Not a great start from Codalungu. Terrible first couple of corners here for Codalungu. Evan IRL running in 8th place there. Duke Martin 9th. Lazy Camel has dropped behind Nilsson, I think. Nilsson's just got ahead of Lazy Camel there. The timing board hasn't updated. It must have been since they crossed over the first sector checkpoint, but that is now Nilsson undisputedly ahead of the Lazy Camel there in 10th place. Oh my goodness me, no! Oh, it's been an incident there. Snooky looks like he's involved, and Snooky's getting tagged around. He's getting absolutely bullied around the track there, as that is quite a few cars involved, to be fair. Zaloba looked like he made contact with Snooky, as Snooky's down towards the back of the pack here. What's gone on wrong there? He looks like he's got heavy damage on the front of that Merc, and has he retired the car? Is he going to be moving any further here in this race? That could not have gone much worse there for Snooky on this first lap. In the meantime, Freeman leads. He's having to defend heavily from Cheese Monkey and Xanderfander. These three starting to break away a little bit, as they were so much quicker than everybody else in the qualifying session. You've got John Jig there in the background there, running in 4th place ahead of Pete Bibb. Snooky obviously dropping down to the back. You've got Codalungu but up into 6th place. Evans up into 7th. In fact, no, Duke Martin's in 7th, as Duke Martin's got ahead of Evan on this first lap here. You've got Evan running in 8th place, then the Lazy Camel. Nilsson in the final top 10 spot, ahead of King Quinn running in 11th place. Then you've got Zaloba, Windsor in 13th. Morphe up into 14th place. Snooky's dropped so far back in this race. He's finally got it moving again, as he let the dust settle and probably just had an absolute moment, a fit of rage there, as he was getting pushed around like no one's business. He's probably furious, probably sat there thinking, do I go on? Can I even go on at this point? But he is going once again. He's got himself together, but he's got a long way to go in this race, that is for sure. As Freeman leads by 0.6 of a second at the moment, ahead of Cheese Monkey, as we're coming towards the end of the first lap. In fact, we have completed the first lap. We're now on to lap 2. Freeman still holding on ahead of Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey, though, is going to find it difficult to make a move on Freeman, because the Giannetta's so slow on the straights. The BMW really does have the advantage coming down the faster sections of the track, so Cheese Monkey's going to have to really put the pressure on Freeman coming through the middle sector and try and force him into a mistake if he can. But they're coming down the Camel Straight for the second time in this race. They've managed to gap Xanderfander a little bit now. Xanderfander's dropping off the back of Cheese Monkey ever so slightly. You've got John Jig there running in 4th ahead of Pete Bibb. Codalungu on the back of Pete Bibb right now. You've got Duke Martin there in 7th just ahead of Evan. Then you've got the Lazy Camel and Nilsson in the background there. King Quinn just coming into your shot there with Zaloba just behind him. Then you've got Windsor, Morphe about 4 seconds off at the back of Windsor, running in 14th place at the moment, and Snooky is in the pits, unsurprisingly, to get that damage fixed after that horrible first lap there for Snooky. Freeman still leads by 9/10 of a second right now, ahead of Cheese Monkey. Xander Van Der there running in third place, ahead of John Jig. Pete Bibb there in fifth, just coming into the shot. There's Codlingu in the background, chopped off a bit of Pete Bibb, but of course of this lap. You've got Duke Martin there in seventh, has damage on the front of their car. That will be affecting him a little bit. Evan there running in eighth. You've got the Lazy Camel, followed by Nilsson. King Quinn, a couple of seconds behind these guys in 11th place. Then there's Saloba running in 12th with heavy damage on the front of that AMG. Wins the 3 seconds behind him in 13th place, and Morphy at the back after that difficult for opening lap. Had that mistake coming through Eau Rouge, coming up the hill, but since then he's just got it going once again, and he's obviously not the worst off driver in this race now, with Snooky down at the back in P15 in the pits, still not coming out of the pits, having had to get that damage fixed. A long pit lane here at Spa. Any unscheduled pit stops are really going to hurt you around here, more so than at any other track on this GT calendar here on ACC at Motive Racing here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5s. But it is currently Freeman and Cheese Monkey 3/10 of a second apart. They've gapped Xander Van Der by quite a bit over the course of this second lap here. Xander Van Der is now a further 2.5 seconds off on the back of these two, and it looks like they're really going at it here on this in the early stages of this race. Evans on the back of Duke Martin, still hasn't found a way through ahead of him at the moment, but he's really putting the pressure on him in these early stages of the race. Evan driving in the Merc. Toyp was driving the Maserati last week, but ended up going with the Merc. But he had a bit of a difficult race last week, picked up a drive-through penalty. We saw drive-throughs getting handed out left, right and centre in last week's race, so we hopefully won't be seeing any of that over the course of this one. But nonetheless, Freeman and Cheese Monkey leading the pack, coming in towards that source for the second time. Freeman wide though, very wide out of that source. Cheese Monkey's going to get the run, but as we've seen so many times, the BMW's got such strong straight line speed compared to the Ginetta. The Ginetta's got nothing in a straight line, and Freeman's able to easily out-drag him coming up towards Eau Rouge and Radion, and manages to get away with that little skirmish. If that was any other car other than the Ginetta behind him, I reckon Freeman would have probably had to have said goodbye to the lead there, but he holds on for the time being up the Camel straight here, and up towards Lacombe for the third time here in this race. Codlingu's on the back of Pete Bibb still, as we just see Cheese Monkey having a little look on the back of Freeman coming in towards Lacombe, but still hasn't been able to get ahead of him for the time being. He's still got Duke Martin with Evan just behind him as they're coming up towards Lacombe. What can Evan try and do here with Duke Martin? He's looking to the inside, and I think he's going to get that one done into the corner quite easily there. Breezes past the Aston Martin, the Mercedes is up into 7th place. Freeman still running just ahead of Cheese Monkey right now, half a second between these two as they're coming through the first sector, about to complete the first sector. Cheese Monkey's still pretty close onto the back of him at the moment. Battle's going on elsewhere. Looks like Zaloba's within 9/10 of a second of Morphy at the moment. Freeman though still got a half second gap over Cheese Monkey, still holding on for the time being. Codlingu within 7/10 of Pete Bibb, trying to put the pressure on if he can, as we see Pete Bibb in that Audi doing a great job, the only driver in an Audi for this season so far, and he is at the moment doing a really impressive job here. Pete Bibb is also one of our regulars in the touring cars on a Friday night on Project Cars 2 here at Motive, so he races on multiple games here. Multi-talented man is Pete Bibb, and he's really doing an impressive job at the moment in that Audi, as we see him just shaking off Codlingu a little bit over the course of this lap. That gap now looks like it's just over a second between those two, so he's pulled out about 3-4 tenths over the course of this middle sector. Gap at the front between Freeman and Cheese Monkey, still half a second. Cheese Monkey's got the pace here at Spa, but with that Ginetta and the fact that it's got no straight line speed means that it's very, very difficult for him to get a move done. We even saw Freeman making a big mistake coming out of La Source a few laps ago. But the thing is, he's just got no answer to Cheese Monkey. To Freeman. He's got no answer to Freeman as soon as we got onto the power coming out of La Source up towards Eau Rouge, and Cheese Monkey, unfortunately for him, just cannot seem to get the thing. Can't seem to get good enough traction out of the corner to keep that speed up. And trust me, the Ginetta's got good traction, but no amount of traction in that car is going to give it any impetus down a straight of any particular length. It's just going to be the BMW basically leaving it for dead as soon as they get up to speed. And at the moment, 6/10 of a second between these two. As we said before, Cheese Monkey's going to have to really put the pressure on in the corners through the medium to low speed corners. It's going to have to be Cheese Monkey absolutely extracting everything out of it that he can. JR saying in the comments that Collie's on a pad. Is he usually on a pad, JR? I didn't know that. I never knew that. I didn't know that he was on a pad, to be fair. But at the moment, Freeman's still leading this race by 6/10 ahead of Cheese Monkey. But to be, you know, if he's racing on a controller, that is actually hats off to him, because he's always pretty competitive. He's always up the sharp end is Codlunga, and I tell you, if he's on a pad, then he is really doing a superb job, as he is on the back of Pete Bibb right now. Pete Bibb's had a bit of a sketchy first sector here. The Audi not the quickest down the straights, and the Merc is now really on him, as we've lost Snooky from the race. We've gone from 15 down to 14 drivers here, so Snooky has unfortunately retired in the still relatively early stages of this race, only 10 minutes into this one, and that's going to have really shot him in the foot. Obviously would have been hoping for a solid result tonight. Snooky is one of our regulars here at Motive, always shows up for the GT4s on a Wednesday night, and he's going to be definitely annoyed at that one. 12th in the standings at the moment. He's on 109 points, 9 points behind King Quinn. King Quinn still out there, still going in 11th place, so that's going to be a bit of an annoyance there for Snooky. But we're still watching Codlunga on the back of Pete Bibb, still can't get anything done. Freeman's managed to gap Cheese Monkey a little bit now. The gap between those two just over 2 seconds, so Freeman's currently got this one seemingly under control at the moment. Codlunga's still hounding and hassling Pete Bibb in any way that he can. 4 tenths between these two right now. Cheese Monkey's brought the gap down to Freeman by a little bit through coming through the middle sector, as you would expect with the Ginetta having so much pace through the corners. 4 tenths of a second between those two at the moment. Pete Bibb's managed to gap Codlunga a little bit over the course of this lap, just over 1 second now separating those two. So for the time being, Pete Bibb seems to be coming back at seems to be responding to that pressure from Codlunga. Evan's not got Duke Martin too far behind him, only a second between those two. Evan did make the move a couple of laps ago, but Duke Martin's stuck to the task since, and he's got the Lazy Camel just over a second behind him in turn. So that is a battle that's looking like it's going to be keeping going for a little while. Nilsson's dropped off of these by quite a bit. He's 4 seconds off of them. King Quinn still going in 11th place, almost 4 seconds off of the back of Nilsson at the moment. You've got Windsor sat in 12th, 4 seconds behind King Quinn. A further 10 seconds back to SMT Morphy, running in P13, not having the race so far. Zaloba in 14th. And Marty saying in the comments, I think Cod has issues with his wheel last time, so he might be on a controller. Right, that would make sense, yeah. I was very surprised to hear the possibility that Cod might be on a pad all the time, but to be fair though, the fact that he's in P6 in this race when he's racing on a pad, it's actually more impressive the fact that he's not usually on a pad, but he's having to race on a pad tonight, you know, because he's running in P6. He's not far off Pete Bibb at the moment, so you've really got to congratulate him for the job that he's done tonight. That is no mean feat, running in P6 on a pad. I mean, can't take that away from him for sure. Pete Bibb's still running just ahead of him right now, 1.4 seconds between those two. Pete Bibb's responded a little bit, but Cod a lot quicker down those straights. As we see, the AMG's definitely got the legs on the Audi coming through that part of the track. Zaloba in the pits at this point. He's currently in 14th place, but an impromptu pit stop's really going to hurt him, especially around the track where the pit lane is as long as it is. Freeman still putting out that gap to Cheese Monkey, currently over 3 seconds between those two. Duke Martin in 8th place has got the Lazy Camel within 6 tenths of a second of him as they're coming down the hill. But the Lazy Camel in the Ginetta will find it difficult to get these moves done, and probably have to try and really get onto the back of Duke Martin coming through the corners in the middle sector, and maybe force him into a mistake if he can, or go for a send it if he's close enough. But at the moment, Duke Martin holding on for that 8th place. Evans managed to gap these two a little bit. He's now got over a 2-3 second cushion back to them, as my TV's threatening to turn itself off if I don't press a button, so I'll just do that now. There we go, that's sorted. But yeah, at this point, Evan just managing to extend that gap a little bit. Pete Bibb's gap to Codlunga just over a second. Looks like that's kind of staying at around the same at the moment. Freeman still putting out the gap at the front to Cheese Monkey, who's got a 2.7 second gap over Cheese Monkey, but Xander Flander has only got about a second to Cheese Monkey at this point. So Xander Flander has really made the gains over these last few laps, and now could be maybe stripping Cheese Monkey of his P2 here in this race, as these three quite a long way clear of John Jig running in 4th place, 7.5 seconds behind. You've got Pete Bibb still going in 5th place, as keeping Codlunga just about at arm's length at the moment. Codlunga on the pad, as we said tonight, really has stepped up, considering that he's not usually on the pad. He usually races on a wheel. Evan there in 7th place at this point, 6 seconds behind Codlunga. Lazy Camel still keeping Duke Martin at bay, but Duke Martin looking closer than he's been at any point as they're coming into the bus stop. But still the Lazy Camel holding on to that for now. Nilsson there 3 seconds behind in P10. There's King Quinn in 11th place, just coming in towards the bus stop out on the last corner, out onto the start finish at this point. You've got Windsor there in 12th, followed by SMT Morphy, and Zaloba running in P14 here in this race still. As Freeman, is he coming up on some traffic already? He is, you know. He's just coming up on SMT Zaloba, and Freeman flashing his lights there, indicating to Zaloba to let him through, and Zaloba pulls off to, oh my goodness me, no, oh my god, as Zaloba very exuberantly pulls off to the side and allows Freeman and Cheese Monkey to come through, and is Xanafan going to get through without any issues here. Hopefully he will be able to follow him through relatively routinely there, but Freeman obviously getting through unscathed, Cheese Monkey following him through. But I thought Zaloba he looked like he was about to lose the car there, honestly, the way he pulled off to the side onto the grass and then tagged the wall in a bit. I really did think he was about to snap the other way and go into the leaders there. Thank goodness that didn't happen. But yes, certainly a close call for those guys, as Freeman obviously still out in front, 3 seconds of a gap here over Cheese Monkey at this point. Xanafan running in third place right now, 1.2 seconds off. John Jig there in fourth, Pete Bibb fifth, Kodalungu within 7/10 of a second of Pete Bibb at the moment. Looks like this battle's raging on for the time being. Evan there just under 6 seconds behind Kodalungu in 7th place. The Lazy Camel 4 seconds off for the back in 8th place. Then you got Duke Martin just over a second behind Lazy Camel at this point. Lilson there 2 seconds behind in 10th place. King Quinn is a long way behind Nielsen at the moment in 11th place. Windsor 12th, SMT Morphe and Zaloba a couple of laps down on the leaders at the moment, having just been overtaken, as we saw on the screen there, by Freeman, Cheese Monkey and Xanafan. Cheese Monkey's gained a little bit on Freeman over these last couple of laps. Now with the gap's 2.4, it was almost 3 seconds a couple of laps ago, so Cheese Monkey's now started to get into a groove again, and it's now gapped Xanafan by a little bit. That gap was around a second, it's now 1.7, so Cheese Monkey's basically keeping the pace to Xanafan, and he's now closing back in on the race leader Freeman. That last sector there, he gained 3/10 on a part of the track where the Ginetta is not the strongest. The run up through Blanchimont up towards the bus stop is typically Mercedes BMW territory, so really good job from Cheese Monkey there. He must have absolutely been wrestling that Ginetta through the bus stop, as we see the gap down to 2.1, and Cheese Monkey's definitely not done in this battle for the win, that is for sure. And Xanafan is still quietly just sat there, just hoping that he might be able to get involved in that battle between Freeman and Cheese Monkey. As we've seen Xanafan closing in on Cheese Monkey at points in this race, and he has started to get himself into that fight at times. But there's currently Kodalungu on the back of Pete Bibb as well for 5th and 6th places, and here we go. Looks like Cod's now got a great run up rally on, and Pete Bibb a little bit of a slide there coming through the corner up the hill, as now Kodalungu's going to look to try and use that side draft here. He's not quite in the slipstream, he's pulled out of the slipstream to try and get the run on the outside. Here we go, side by side down a couple straight up towards Lacoon. What is going to happen here is Kodalungu's going to try and go around the outside here. The Audi though a little bit stronger on the brakes maybe, who knows. No, the Mercedes swoops around the outside there. Great move from Kodalungu up into 5th place, and Kodalungu gets himself ahead of Pete Bibb. Brilliant move there, and Cod can now try and chase down John Jig there, who's 7 seconds up the road in 4th place. But Kodalungu on the pad tonight, can't knock him at all. He's really put into practice, must have got acclimatised to the controller pretty nicely over the course of this last week, knowing that his wheel's gone defective and that he needs to figure out a new way of taking part in the races. So well done to Kodalungu there, up into P5 for Team Run DJC. I'm sure JR is going to be pretty chuffed with that one, but we see Freeman still leading this race and has pulled out 7/10 of a second to Cheese Monkey on this lap so far. He really is putting out that gap at the moment, and Freeman seems to be in cruise control at the moment. JR saying, damn, that Audi is fast. Yeah, but the Mercedes seemed to have the measure of it down the straight. Maybe a bit of slipstream helped, as he had a bit of side draft as well. But Kodalungu gets himself up into P5 anyway. Duke Martin's been passed by the Lazy Camel, but Duke Martin's not giving up. Still only 7/10 of a second between those two at the moment in 8th and 9th places. Freeman's gap to Cheese Monkey now just under 2 seconds, so Freeman must have had a bit of a moment coming to that middle sector there, because Cheese Monkey gained 8/10 in one sector. I know the Ginettas quick in the corners, but my goodness, so it's not that quick. So Cheese Monkey there absolutely getting it down coming through that middle sector there, as we're nearly a third of the way into this race. 18 minutes gone. Freeman looks like he had a bit of a strong final sector there though, 2.6 to the gap's back up to, so it's kind of just ebbing and flowing between these two championship contenders, and Xanafan is still sticking to the back of Cheese Monkey right now. Well, not sticking to the back, but he's keeping the gap to him, only 1.5. Xanafan to gain 2/10 of a second on Cheese Monkey coming through that final sector there. Pete Bibb still on the back of Kodalungu, still hasn't given up, still going at it here for 5th place. Evan is managing to close the gap to these guys a little bit now. He's only 5 seconds behind there in 7th place, as we see somebody way off onto the runoff there. as is that a lap car? It was, yeah, it was Zaloba. They're moving aside, so good sportsmanship there from Zaloba as he saw the leaders coming through. No issues coming to the fore there. But Evans starting to close in a little bit on Codlinger and Pete Bibb at the moment, and maybe he might be able to bring himself into this fight for 5th place here in this race. The Lazy Camel has gapped Duke Martin a little bit by 2 seconds since getting that moved on him, since we just looked at him a few moments ago. So I don't know if Duke Martin made a little bit of a mistake there coming through that previous sector. Duke Martin has got the lap car of Zaloba just behind him. You've got Nilsson there in the background coming through the shot down the Kemmel Straight. He's running in 10th in this race. King Quinn in 11th place, 11 seconds behind Nilsson. You've got Windsor there in P12, 9 seconds behind King Quinn. Morphe and Zaloba still going in P13 and 14. JR in the comments says one thing is for sure, Cod will not give up chasing him down. Yeah, no, for sure he won't give up. Question is his hard work all going to come to absolutely nothing and be rendered pointless, or will he get the reward for it? We'll have to wait and see what the answer to that one is going to be. But Freeman leads this race by 3.5 seconds, and he's putting out that gap to Cheese Monkey at this point again. But Cheese Monkey once again through that middle sector gained about 7 or 8 tenths on him. So you just never know what's going to happen from one moment to the next. The Ginetta is so quick through that middle sector, through the medium to low speed corners, but then the BMW's got the pace down the straights. The Mercedes is the quickest down the straights, but doesn't really seem to have the pace anywhere else here. But at the moment, Freeman has the lead. Just under 3 seconds is the gap, as we said before. Cheese Monkey coming into the bus stop, got 1.6 back to Xander Flounder running in 3rd place. John Jig there 12 seconds behind him, 4th, further 7 seconds back to Cod, who's gapped Pete Bibb a little bit by over 2 seconds. Evan continuing to bring that gap down to Pete Bibb, and I said earlier on, Evan could be a definite contender here for 5th place here in this race. He seems to have to pace over Pete Bibb, and maybe he's going quicker than Cod Lunga at this point as well. So definitely watch out for Evan over the course of this race. He's 6 seconds clear of the Lazy Camel, who's gapped Duke Martin by a bit more. The gap now 2.3. It was 2 seconds at the beginning of this lap. You got Nilsson there running in 10th place, who's closing the gap a little bit to Duke Martin at this point as well. So Duke Martin's got to watch out. Currently doing a good job right now in P9. Some very good points on offer for 9th place here in the GT4 League. You get points all the way down to P20, so you must get quite a sizable chunk of the pie if you finish in 9th. But Zaloba's picked up a drive through here. What's happened there to Zaloba, as he's had a bit of a nightmare there, and yeah, he's picked up a drive through penalty, which he'll have to serve at some point over the next 3 laps. Otherwise the penalty will be much more severe than if he doesn't come in. So yeah, he'll need to come in and get that done and out of the way ASAP. As we see Liam James, I assume must be Snooky, in the comments says, what happened on lap 1? Oh no, it's not, because he's saying he bets Snooky is fuming, but it's not Snooky. So Liam James, unaware of the identity of Liam James, other than that his name's Liam James, but not sure what his PSN is. Don't know if he races with us, but he's clearly a Snooky fan in the comments, and very much not happy with what happened at the start there. Snooky did seem to get battered around a bit on lap 1 for sure, and was out of the race after. He looked like he thought about retiring for a few moments. He's probably sat there thinking, do I, don't I, do I, don't I. In the end, gritted his teeth and got on with it, carried on for a few more laps, and then eventually did retire the car. But obviously we'll score no points for tonight as a result. Really unfortunate there for Snooky. He'll be gutted with that one, as we've still got Xander Flounder running just about a second and a half behind Cheese Monkey. The gap between Freeman and Cheese Monkey kind of staying at around the same, between 2.5 and 3 seconds over these last 2 laps. Xander Flounder keeping that pressure on Cheese Monkey, not letting him off the hook. Xander Flounder looks more likely to get Cheese Monkey than Cheese Monkey looks like he's going to get Freeman at this point. Cheese Monkey's more falling back into the clutches of this man here than he is going off the leader, that is for sure. Marty saying in the comments, go Cod, get John Jig for me. John Jig running in P4 at the moment. He's only got 7 seconds back to Cod, but I think John Jig's keeping that gap to Cod. In fact, if not, just putting away ever so slightly at this point. Cod has gapped Pete Bibb by 2.3 since getting ahead of him about 3 or 4 laps ago, though, as Pete Bibb has still got Evan reeling him in by quite a bit. Evan IRL's clearly got the pace over Pete Bibb at this point. Evans just matching the pace of Codalunga, really, not slower than him, not particularly quicker than him. It just seems like those two are quite even at this point. Lazy Camel running in 8th place has got just over a second back to Duke Martin at this point, who's in 9th. Further 4 seconds back to Nilsson, who's still got King Quinn hounding and hassling him coming in towards the bus stop. Windsor there in 12th place. You got SMT Morphe and Zaloba completing the classification at this point in the race. But Freeman's still going, still got everything under control at this point. JR saying looks like John Jig is managing the gap at the moment. Yeah, I think he's got a reasonable buffer back to Codling at this point. As Anafan is now within 7/10 of a second of Cheese Monkey. So Cheese Monkey's had a bit of a scruffy lap there, half a lap maybe for him, and he's really got Anafan breathing down his neck now. Ginetta versus Ginetta, so the Ginetta is incapable of passing any other car down the straights, but it can pass. Basically, if it's a Ginetta passing a Ginetta, then it's more than capable of passing it down the straight. But the Ginetta can't get any of the other cars because it is the slowest car in a straight line by an absolute mile. There's literally no contest. It's absolutely fantastic through the slow corners, but down the straights it's completely, and this is not me being nasty or harsh or in any way derogatory towards the car, because it's a great little runner through the corners, but down the straights it's basically useless. Literally, like, if you get a perfect exit, you get a great run out of the corner, and a Mercedes in front of you gets a horrible run, you're still not going to get past it. It's impossible. But then through these corners, through the middle sector, the Ginetta is absolutely flying. Literally, it's gaining about, and no joke, it's gaining about 7 or 8 tenths just through that middle sector here at Spa. It's a real trade-off in the Ginetta for sure, but at the moment it's Ginetta versus Ginetta up towards the bus stop. Zanderfander trying to go around the outside of Cheese Monkey here. He's clearly got the pace at this point in the race, having a little look around the outside, still can't get it done as Cheese Monkey fends that line off and holds the inside line out onto the start-finish straight here for the 9th time in this race for these guys. We've got a few comments coming in now. We've got Liam, obviously Marty, JR and David Snook, otherwise known as Snooky there. David Snook has, of course, mate, how did I forget that your name is David Snook? I don't know what I was thinking there, man. But I knew your name was David Snook. It just kind of escaped me there. I was thinking to myself, Liam James, that doesn't sound like Snooky, but it must be one of his friends. But he says there, had to have a chill pill, but gonna watch the replay to be sure. But yeah, obviously I watched it as it happened, Snooky, and to be fair, you really did look like you were getting battered around. It looked like everybody wanted a piece of you on that first lap, and you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's nothing you could do in that situation. It was just really, really bad luck for yourself. You were getting knocked around like a bowling ball, to be fair. But yeah, hopefully you can have a look at that replay and see exactly what went on. If you saved the video clip, then you'll be able to take a look and see what happened from your own point of view as well. But having said that, if you're on cockpit, then it's not always easy. If you're on the bonnet, you can sort of have an idea of what happened, but yeah, it's always a bit difficult if you're in a cockpit for sure. But John Jig looked like he gained quite a bit on that last lap on Codlingu. Apparently he pulled away by a second according to Guitar Rich, so John Jig obviously before we come into the pits a few moments ago did have a bit of a gap back to Codlingu. We've got Pete Bibb in the pits at the moment. Also we've got Windsor, Morphe and Taloba all in the pits. Evans really close on the back of the Lazy Camel, only a tenth of a second. Oh no, Evan! Oh no! Oh my goodness me, Evan has had a big moment there. Coming up through Lacombe, he's missing his front bonnet's hanging off. That's going to completely mess up all the aero on the front of that car as he loses out. Duke Martin moves up into 6th place, and Nilsson, I think, has got him as well. Nilsson moves up into 7th. Duke Martin into 6th, Nilsson into 7th. So Evan there's had a huge moment, and he's going to drop down the field like a stone here. Luckily for him, the pit window is open this lap, so he won't lose as much as he would have done had it been before the pit window. Yeah, JR, absolutely spot on there. Really, that's come at the perfect time there for Evan. If there ever was going to be a time for that to happen, I tell you what. Pete Bibb in the pits, Windsor and Morphe likewise. John Jig and Pete Bibb both done their pit stops and are out once again on the track. The first drivers to complete their pit stops, Windsor, Morphe and Zaloba following suit. Everybody else still yet to make the pit stop. Pit window's open, 7 minutes left in the pit window. It's a long lap here at Spa. You need to make sure that you leave yourself plenty of time to come in and get the pit stop done, because if you say you pass the pits at 27 minutes, you're going to miss it if you get around the next lap, because it'll already be 24 minutes and the pit window would have passed. If you don't come in during the pit window, you get a hefty penalty of, I think, 80 seconds it is if you don't come in during the pit window. Basically, if you miss the pit window, you're better off just staying out and taking the risk, because there's actually no reward to coming in by that point. You know, there's no like, oh, fair enough, you came in or anything like that. At that point, no, it's just like, you might as well just risk it for a biscuit. But Freeman, and not that you can risk it for a biscuit, because obviously there's no way of getting around it. If you don't come into the pits, then you haven't undertaken your mandatory pit stop, but you know what I mean. But anyway, Freeman out in front, currently 6 seconds is his gap over Cheese Monkey at this point. Zanafanda, Codalungu, the Lazy Camel, Duke Martin and Nilsson all in the pits here at the end of lap 10. As we just see there, that's Codalungu just coming into the second part of the pit lane now. Zanafanda coming up towards his box. He's about to stop in that box in a few moments time, but looks like nearly the whole field coming into the pits at the end of this lap, so that only leaves Freeman to come in now. Freeman and Cheese Monkey, the only drivers to still pit. Freeman's continuing to pull out that gap to Cheese Monkey at the moment. Over 6 seconds here between these guys. David Snook saying, watching the race, pal, things happen. Bigging up John Jig and the ODC guys, 100%. It'll be good to see them get a good result here tonight. And John Jig at the moment really flying the flag very nicely indeed. Once all the pit windows have been done, I think John Jig will emerge in 4th place. And that'll be some very good points in the bag, but doesn't seem to be on the pace of the 3 leaders tonight. Freeman, Cheese Monkey and Zanafanda all seem to be in a class of their own here at Spa at the moment, as Zanafanda predicts to be the first driver to complete his pit stop, and off and away once again. Out of the pits he comes, up through El Rouge and up towards Radion, and will be able to continue on with his race. Freeman still leads. Cheese Monkey's gained a little bit as usual coming through that middle sector, gaining 7/10 just through that one part of the track alone, but then Freeman seems to gain the time back coming through this final sector. As we're halfway through here for the GT4 round 8 here at Spa on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 at Motive Racing. Guys, drop a like on the video. 10 people watching the stream, currently only 6 likes. There's no reason at all, guys, why we shouldn't have 10 likes on this video. Please, if you are watching now, sort that out for us. Drop a like. Let's get the video to 10 likes before we get off air here. JR saying every one of these on-track warriors deserves a thumbs up. Show some love, guys. I couldn't agree more, JR. I could not agree more. As we see the 2 leaders coming into the pits at the end of lap 11, Freeman and Cheese Monkey both in. So now this is going to be interesting. Maybe just Cheese Monkey try and go to the end on these tyres. Does he opt to not change his tyres during his pit stop and get a slightly quicker stop as a result, and maybe jump Freeman through the pits? Number 88 has picked up a drive through. That's SMT Morphe there, who's gone a little bit hot-headed into the pits, and as a result has faced the oh no, he hasn't. He's done it, got track limits. Oh, what a shame. What a shame there for SMT Morphe. He's picked up a drive through for track limits there, and that will obviously cost him dearly once we get to the end of this race. Freeman and Cheese Monkey stood out in front, 1 and 2. What's happening here with their pit stops? Freeman is just stopping in his box now, I think. Cheese Monkey also coming up towards his pit box. As JR saying, what happened to John G. Cod undercut? Oh wow, yeah, Codalungu's really caned on John Jig. He's only 9/10 of a second behind him. I wonder if Cod's maybe stayed on the same tyres. I wonder if Cod's not changed tyres, and that might be why. I think maybe that might be the reason why, because he seems to already be dropping off of him, and John Jig, to be fair, was pulling away at bits before the pit window. But yeah, Guitarich saying Cod short stop, so yeah, I think potentially he may have not changed tyres, and that'll be why he got the quick pit stop. JR saying big thank you to everybody who liked the stream. These lads deserve the support, 100% JR. And if you guys appreciate what these drivers are out on track are doing, and you enjoying the action that they're putting on, then make sure you do the same. And obviously join us at motiveracing.com. If you think you can beat these lads out on track, then by all means come along, see what you're about, and see if you can compete in our ACC leagues on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Plenty to get involved with. We've got GT4s obviously on the Wednesdays, we've got GT3s on a Sunday. We also run leagues on the Codemasters Formula 1 game on a Friday night as well. We're also in collaboration with XLF1 League on a Monday and Wednesday night here at Motive. So definitely come along and check out those guys as well. They're in our partners section at the top of our Discord server. As JR saying, COD changed tyres. Yes, well, we know COD changed tyres, but we don't believe that John Jig did. So, oh, hold on, no. Okay, you're right. Okay, that makes sense then. No, sorry, we do believe that John Jig did, but COD did change tyres, which actually makes it a little bit strange that he's now got the gap down to almost under a second here to John Jig. So maybe John Jig had a bit of a moment on his outlap. Potentially something happened, because the gap is only 9/10. It was about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 seconds before the pit window. So now John Jig has got heavy pressure from Cobb, which is not what he needed, seeing as he had a reasonable enough cushion back to him before. Freeman's gap to Cheese Monkey almost 6 seconds now. So Freeman looks like he's definitely got this race under his control. Just needs to keep doing what he's doing right now. Took pole position by only a 1/10 of a second over Cheese Monkey, but in the race he seems to have had a bit more than a 1/10 of a second of an advantage over Cheese Monkey per lap. He seems to have very much had this one under his grasp. King Quin's running in 10th place. He's got Windsor and Evan pretty close behind him right now. Only 7/10 of a second separating these three drivers. As we've got 12 people watching the stream, guys, drop a like, please. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the action here on the Motive Racing YouTube channel. Join us at www.motiveracing.com if you want to get involved in the action. But King Quin has managed to put a bit of a gap here to Windsor and Evan over the course of this last lap or so. Coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh my goodness, King Quin, mate, what is that? Oh my goodness, he just completely missed out Radion there. Literally cut the inside of the track monstrously. Oh my goodness. Well, he gets away with it by the looks of it. No drive through as of yet, as Morphy's got a stop go penalty, and now it looks as though Windsor's looking up the inside of King Quin. They're side by side through Lacombe. Can Windsor completely smooth around the outside of the second part of Lacombe? He does it brilliantly there. Tucks into 10th place. Oh no, he's lost it. No, Windsor gets sideways into the wall and it's going to have heavy damage on the car for that one. Windsor there getting a bit out of shape. King Quin holding on to that position as Evan now follows him through, and Evans up into 11th place. Windsor with a big moment, loses out quite a bit there in that exchange as Morphy has still got that stop go penalty to serve. Obviously he picked up a drive through earlier on. He's now got a stop go penalty to boot. It's gone horribly wrong here for Morphy tonight, as we've got Guitar Rich saying I think he lost about 5-6 seconds on the outlap. John Jig was 15 seconds before the stop. It wasn't 15 seconds, was it? It was more about 6 or 7, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't know. But the gap between Freeman and Cheese Monkey's come down a bit. It's now 4.7, so Cheese Monkey's gained about a second over the last lap or so, as we're watching John Jig. And Codlunger's got ahead of John Jig. Codlunger's done in there on the exit of Lacombe. Codlunger up into 4th place there. I didn't see what happened exactly. I was kind of just watching John Jig, and I just suddenly saw the Merc had come through. We'll have to watch that back on the stream there. I'll just rewind for a second there. I must admit, I was kind of just napping there. I was looking down, and then all of a sudden, Codlunger was ahead of him. Oh, John Jig got a bit of sideways action, got a bit of snap oversteer coming through the second part of Lacombe. Went a bit wide, and that was all that Codlunger needed to sneak up the inside and up into 4th place. So that is now Codlunger off a position and continuing his strong fight back in this race on the pad. Doesn't usually race on the pad, but tonight he's really killing it. Guitar Rich saying nice pass there, obviously in reference to Codlunger's move up into 4th place. JR saying come on Cod, and clearly that support there is definitely spurring him on at the moment, moving himself up into P4. Not really too many other battles going on at the moment. Marty saying go Cod. Cod really bringing it to John Jig and getting himself up into 4th place. John Jig, I'm sure, won't be done on that though. John Jig will still be pushing it all the way to the flag as we're approaching the final third of this race. Saloba with another drive-through penalty. That's getting ridiculous now. That's like about, was that his 4th drive-through? Anyway, Freeman still leads, and Cheese Monkey is bringing that gap down. Hashtag team, says JR in the comments, but currently his team leader Freeman looks like he's having his gap eaten down here. Cheese Monkey, always a man who goes strongly in the final part of a race. Generally after the pit stops, Cheese Monkey unleashes the Kraken in these GT4s, and I know that was a terrible bit of terminology there, but that's all I got, guys. I'm sorry, but Cheese Monkey seems to really be making gains now. The reigning champion, the championship leader, looked like he lost a bit coming to that first sector there, obviously down to the fact that the BMW much quicker than a Ginetta in a straight line. But this is the part of the track where Cheese Monkey generally excels. He seems to be about 7 or 8 tenths quicker coming through this long middle sector. The medium to slow speed corners really do suit the Ginetta absolutely superbly. It's the straights where it has nothing, but through these parts of the track it's very, very quick indeed. And now Cheese Monkey starting to get into a bit of a groove. Maybe he changed tyres, maybe Freeman didn't, I don't know. I'm sure JR will be able to let us know on that one, but it definitely looks as though Cheese Monkey at the moment has got the impetus. JR saying that Ginetta will be light fuel by now. I don't know, mate, to be fair, we don't know. Cheese Monkey, I don't believe streams his races, maybe he does, but I don't actually, I couldn't confirm on that one. I'm not really sure, but right now Cheese Monkey is 4 seconds behind Freeman. The gap was almost 6 seconds out of the pits, so he's gained a second and a half over the last sort of 3 or 4 laps. So I don't know, maybe Cheese Monkey's got a little bit of definitely a bit of momentum at this point in the race. 21 minutes left in this race for round 8 of the GT4 Championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 at Motive Racing. If you want to get involved, guys, go to www.motiveracing.com, join the Discord server, get involved in the on-track action. If you think you can take the fight to these guys out on the track, definitely come along and see what you're about. The gap between Freeman and Cheese Monkey down at 3.5, but Freeman seems to be quicker coming through this part of the track on the run up towards the bus stop, so I think Freeman will probably take a little bit of time back on Cheese Monkey coming through this part of the track. I reckon the gap's going to probably be, let's have a look. Oh, I reckon that's about 3.7. We'll see once they cross the line. To me, I made that 3.7. Oh, it's 2.9. Okay, wow. So my perception of time is absolutely... But a gap now under 3 seconds between Freeman and Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey continuing to bring that gap down to Freeman. And this is looking like race on. It really is, to be fair. Because I thought that Freeman did the measure of him, but I think Cheese Monkey's maybe been just saving a bit of fuel. He's waited until this point in the race, and he's saying, right, final part of the race, I'm just going to go for it. We've seen this so many times with Cheese Monkey. He always starts the races a little bit slowly compared to how he finishes them, and he just seems to switch it on in the final part of the races. I don't know, I haven't really played this game enough to know what strategies there are available. I've done literally 4 league races on this game, and I've done about maybe less than 15 online races, I would say, on this game. Played it a couple of times, did 4 league races in these GT4s here at Motive myself. Other than that, I've basically not played this game, so I don't know if there's any fuel strat mode. I don't know if you can put it on low, medium or rich or whatever. Literally when I play this game, I just get in the car, drive it and try and go as fast as I can. That's it. So I have absolutely no idea how any of the strategy works, but I assume that Cheese Monkey must have a setting which he dials up at the end of the race. I assume he runs it low to save fuel or whatnot, or something or other. I'm sure there's some kind of strategy involved in how Cheese Monkey runs it, because he always seems to have better pace at the end of the races compared to what he does at the start. So I really don't know what the whole science is behind it, but Guitar Rich saying Cheese wants to win now for sure. He really does, Rich. He's going for it. He's fully sending it around Spa at the moment. This Ginetta number 1 is getting absolutely maximised here. Gap down to 2.8. We'll see what he can bring to the table coming through this final sector here, but you can see the BMW of Freeman in the distance. It's visible very, very much within his sights, and I'm sure that Cheese Monkey now can possibly taste a turning at the tables here. Last 5 races, Freeman's finished ahead of Cheese Monkey in 4 of them. Maybe Cheese Monkey trend now. Cheese Monkey's only taken 1 win in the last 5 races. That was at Barcelona. The championship leader is currently living off of his strong start to the season, where he took a double for the first 2 races of the season. Since then, he's kind of struggled for consistency. Well, not consistency. He's been consistent. He's just struggled to stand on the top step. That's the long story short of it. He's still been quick. He's still been solid, but he's always been on the podium, or at least most of the time he's been on the podium. But it's just been about consistency. That's the only thing where he's been lacking. Is the going for the wins. That's pretty much it. I mean, he's always up there or thereabouts, but I'm sure he wants to stand on that top step once again. It's been a little while for Cheese Monkey. Been 4 weeks to the day since he last won a race here in these GT4s at Motive, but obviously still with that 13-point gap in the championship, and with Freeman leading this race, he would be closing that gap, but Cheese Monkey would still come away from this track with the lead if he were to come home in second place. But not too many battles going on at this point. It's kind of just settled down a little bit. Freeman leads by just under 3 seconds ahead of the championship leader. These two, 1 and 2 in the championship, but opposite way around from what they are currently in this order at the moment. Lots of guys dropping off as the action kind of just peters out a little bit. Guys, please drop a like on the video if you are watching right now, as it really does help us out an enormous amount. So you've enjoyed the action up to this point. It's kind of just dying down a little bit at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be seeing a reignition of the action coming towards the end as Cheese Monkey continues to try and hunt down Freeman. But Freeman, over the last lap or so, has started to respond a little bit to the pace of Cheese Monkey. Yeah, guys, sorry about that little break there we just had on the stream, on the commentary. I just had to quickly go and sort something out, but we're back on once again here for lap 19 of this race. Freeman still has the lead by 1.2 seconds ahead of Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey still bringing that gap down, and he's really reeled him in over these last couple of laps. Also, Evan was batting out with Windsor, but now he's got a bit of a 2-second gap over him, so it looks like Evan's got that 11th place sorted for the time being. Auto Butcher there in the comments saying that Cheese takes a while to settle it. He's a slow burner, as we just see Evan there getting sideways and losing the car, and I think that's going to give Windsor P11, and Windsor's just coming around onto the scene there. Morphe is unlapped, but no, it's not Morphe, it's in fact, yeah, that is Evan, so that's Windsor and Evan there, and Windsor getting ahead of Evan up into 11th place, but the gap down to just under 2 seconds between Freeman and Cheese Monkey. It was 1.2 a few moments ago, so it looks as though Cheese Monkey's lost a bit of time. Freeman started to respond a bit after Cheese Monkey was really closing in with a couple of laps to go, but having a look now, that gap looks like it's a lot less than 1.9. That looks like it's about 1.4, I would say, at the moment. So Cheese Monkey's gained a little bit coming through this middle sector where the Ginetta is extremely strong. For the rest of this middle sector, he'll be wanting to really get onto the back of him and just put some pressure on him, because I'm sure Cheese Monkey knows that it's going to be extremely difficult for him to get ahead of Freeman, owing to the fact that the Ginetta's pretty slow down the straights as Freeman gets very wide there, a little bit onto the gravel coming out of Stavolo, which will definitely fill Cheese Monkey with a little bit of hope. He now knows that he's got the opportunity. This is obviously the championship battle between these two. Cheese Monkey with a big lead in the championship, well, not a big lead, not a massive lead, but you know, a comfortable cushion, shall I say. 13 points in the standings. Freeman knows that he will probably get a good opportunity tonight to halve that deficit, or to at least cut it down by a bit. The gap would be down to it'd be down to, hold on, let's have a quick look. I think it'd be 8 points if Cheese Monkey were to come second to Freeman tonight. Then the gap would be 8 points, or no, it would be 7 points, because Freeman would get the bonus point for pole position as well. So actually, as it stands at the moment, if the race were to finish right now, then the gap would be 7 points in the championship between Cheese Monkey and Freeman. Cheese Monkey would still lead, but Freeman would be cutting that gap down. But Cheese Monkey wants to get himself ahead of Freeman here, get the 60 points for a win. Freeman would get 56 for second and a pole position, but Cheese Monkey would extend his gap to 17 points. So right now, this could really swing either way. It could be either Freeman cutting the gap down to 7 points, or Cheese Monkey extending it to 17 points. It is such a close call at the moment between these two. Freeman's going to be desperately wanting to hold on for this win as he flashes his lights there. Is he coming up on some back markers? It looks like he is. They've got some traffic just up ahead of him here, so they'll be hoping that this doesn't get in the way too much, as we've got Morphe there running. That's not Morphe. It is. Who is that in front of them? I'm trying to work out who it is, to be honest. Is it King Quinn? Yeah, it is King Quinn there, running just ahead of Freeman and Cheese Monkey at the moment. Freeman's been flashing his lights for the last lap or so, very conscious of the fact that Cheese Monkey is very close on him. But Freeman managed to put a bit of a gap down the Camel Straight, as you would expect, with the BMW having a significant pace advantage over the Ginetta coming through that part of the track. But this is looking nip and tuck as Freeman ducks down the inside of King Quinn and gets himself a lap ahead of him there, and Cheese Monkey follows him through. Neither of those two having too much of an issue coming through that part of the track. Gap just under just under 9 minutes to go in this race. Gap's just about a second and a half between Freeman and Cheese Monkey. This one's got to go down to the wire between these two. Freeman is doing a fantastic job here in this race. Has let this one since the get-go. He's at the pace generally over Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey, though, has unleashed a lot of pace in this last stint of the race, and he's really taking this fight to Freeman in the closing stage of this one. Fascinating battle this is, as this is for the championship. These two, the main championship contenders in this race. Noticing on a timing board there that Codlungu's gapped John Jig by quite a bit now. He's got a 6-second gap over John Jig since getting the move done on him. Codlungu seemed a little bit slower than John Jig in the first part of the race, but since the pit stops, Cod's definitely had the pace. It's one of them where some drivers seem to start the race quickly and then peter out a bit. Some tend to start a bit slowly and then really find their groove towards the end. And Cheese Monkey's definitely one of those who starts slowly and gets into it towards the end. Cod seems to be one of those who starts slow and also gets into it towards the end. John Jake seems to be the other way around. He's a guy who starts strong and then just seems to drop it a little bit in the final part of the race. As he's, as I say that, he just gained 8 tenths on Codlungu over that last lap. But to me, Codlungu's really picked it up in this second part of the race. Maybe that's because he's getting more acclimatised to the pad, not sure. And Evan, no! Oh, he's managed to go 53 minutes without picking up a drive-through. Oh, I was getting ready to congratulate you, man. Oh, that's gutting. Evan in the Mercedes there has picked up a drive-through on lap 21 of the race. Oh, so close, mate, so close. Gutted for Evan there. He's picked up a drive-through as he just absolutely takes liberties coming through Radion there. Completely missed the corner like it's not even there, straight over the tarmac. That is definitely not the line that you're supposed to take coming through there. But Cheese Monkey's still on the back of Freeman right now, despite the fact that we've just been down the Kemmel Straight, which is a BMW territory compared to the Ginetta. He's still really close on the back of him here as they're coming in towards the middle sector of the lap. This is the part of the track where the Ginetta is so strong, and when you consider the fact that Cheese Monkey is right up behind Freeman coming into this part of the track, he's got a great chance of getting this move done here on this lap. Lap 21, 6 minutes left on the clock. Cheese Monkey's got the run here around the outside of Freeman. Can he keep his Ginetta there? No, he can't. Freeman just covers off that line for the time being and is holding on to this one. But this is the battle for the championship between these two. Cheese Monkey leads by 13 points coming into this round. Freeman knows he needs to finish ahead of him if he wants to cut that gap down and keep himself on this upward trajectory. But now Cheese Monkey looking to the inside in towards Stavilo. Freeman once again closes that door. No way through at the moment. Cheese Monkey though is absolutely hassling the back of him. Through Stavilo they come in towards the final section of the lap. 3 tenths between them, but Freeman survives through the middle sector this time around. This is game on though here for Cheese Monkey. He is all over his trumpet here as they're coming up towards Blanchimont. This is the part of the track where the BMW will pull away a little bit from the Ginetta. The Ginetta will have no answer to Freeman. Freeman, you can see here, already starting to put a bit of a gap between himself and Cheese Monkey. Up towards the bus stop chicane they come. Cheese Monkey a little bit too far back to send one. Freeman just defends to the inside anyway, but Cheese Monkey gonna have to go again and regroup, keep himself close once again coming up towards Lacombe, and if he can keep himself in striking distance coming through there, he'll once again be able to have a crack through the middle sector on the next lap. Not too many overtaking spots in the middle sector, but the Ginetta is so much quicker than the BMW through those corners that it may have a chance of getting the move done. Cheese Monkey probably is going to have to send one on Freeman and hope for the best. Freeman, one of the drivers who is more famed for aggressive send-its, and he's clean for the most part, but Freeman is a man who is very used to late dives in races. We've seen him a couple of times, namely when Credeo had to go at him about it in a pre-season event at the Nürburgring when we had the GT3 and GT4 multi-class. Freeman is a very clean driver, but he does like to send it sometimes, and usually it comes off when he does. But right now he's the one being hunted. He's not the hunter for a change. He's currently got everything to lose. He's been out in front since the beginning of this race, has led practically every lap apart from when he came in for his pit stop. In fact, I think he has led actually every lap, but when you think about it, as we just see a back marker there, Morphy getting well out of the way and letting these guys through as they continue their duel in towards the final couple of laps here at Spa. Cheese Monkey having a look to the outside down the hill. Freeman covering that off. No way through at the moment for Cheese Monkey, just sticking to the inside line, but Cheese Monkey is keeping himself really close on Freeman here as they're coming up towards the middle sector, which we know is Ginetta territory. Look at this once again, almost underneath him there, almost tickling that suspension of the BMW. Down the hill they come towards Bouin. Cheese Monkey's going to want to get a good exit here. If he can get himself down the inside, he might have a chance. Freeman wide, Freeman wide. Oh, Cheese Monkey pushed him out a little bit, side by side. Oh, Cheese Monkey, a big slide there. Freeman just holds it around the outside, just about. Cheese Monkey, he was so close to losing the back end of the car there. He just about managed to cling onto it and tucks in behind, coming up through campers. Freeman there did a really good job of holding it around the outside, left him the space on the inside, and to be fair, Cheese Monkey had to take a narrow line coming through that corner and just about kept it together. That was so close there to him losing the car. Freeman did leave him a car's width on the inside, which rightly so, he needed to there, but 2 tenths between these two. Cheese Monkey is going to have no answer to Freeman down this part of the track though, and once again we're going to see that BMW pull away despite the Ginetta being all over him and in that slipstream. The BMW is just going to leave him for dead here in this part of the track. 2 minutes 55 on the clock. Are we going to have 1 or 2 more laps here? That's the big question at this point, because we are very much on the cusp here. A lap of Spa is about a 2 minute 33. 2 minutes 33, 2 minutes 34. This is going to be tight, you know. This is going to be extremely tight. What's the lap time going to be? What's the time on the clock as they cross the line? Oh my god. This is going to be so close. Literally like 2 minutes 33 as they cross the line. Oh, this is going to be so close as to if we have 1 or 2 more laps. This could be the last lap, it could be not. Cheese Monkey's just going to have to throw the kitchen sink here at Freeman. I think this is going to be the last lap, you know. I don't know this for sure. It could go either way. 10 people watching the stream. Guys, please hit the like button and show your appreciation for these two as they're batting it out all the way to the final lap here. The checkered flag, I think, will be out on this lap. We haven't received confirmation from race control, but 2 minutes 33 as they cross the line. I don't think they're going to go quicker than a 2 minute 33, especially when they're battling. I think that this will be the last lap of the race. As JR is saying in the comments, hats off to Cheese Monkey here, because it would be difficult for any Ginetta driver to get this close to Freeman around Spa, but Cheese Monkey's really taken the fight to him, and it's been such an impressive drive there from him. JR saying, are we there yet? Come on Freeman, hold that inside line. Just stick to that inside line, hug those curbs, and the race win will be yours, is what JR is saying at the moment. Team Run DJC, JR Sim Racing, very much getting behind Freeman and just trying to coax him home to this race win. Another race win it would be for Freeman, as he's on a good run of form at the moment, has outscored Cheese Monkey in the last couple of races, but 4 of the last 5 races Freeman has outscored the championship leader and championship rival Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey currently leading the championship down to his very strong start to the season, but in the last few races it's really been Freeman who's been on that upward trajectory, and at the moment Freeman just holding that line, keeping in front by the skin of his teeth in towards campus for what is probably the final time in this race, to be honest with you. Freeman, I think, trying to just slow it down a bit, trying to run the clock out and make sure this is the final lap of the race in the parts of the track where there's no chance of Cheese Monkey getting past him, up towards Stavolo. I think this is going to be it. This is going to be for all the marbles. Cheese Monkey on the outside, riding over that curb a little bit. He's going to need to keep himself very close in that slipstream here and maybe try and send one into the bus stop chicane, but I'm pretty sure that Freeman will hug the inside. He needs to just duck into that little pocket on the right hand side as the track widens out up towards the braking zone. He needs to just protect himself from any send-its by just sort of ducking right into that little pocket on the inside of the track. What's he going to do here? He needs to duck right here. He needs to duck right, then there he goes. He's defending to the inside, and Cheese Monkey's going to try and go around the outside here. He's going to be side by side as Freeman just tugs the first apex there. Out of the final corner he comes. I think it's going to be the win for Freeman here tonight at Spa. Up towards the line they come. What's the clock going to say here? It is the final lap of the race, and Freeman, no, it's not. Oh my goodness, we're on one more lap here. This is incredible stuff. Such unexpected dramas here tonight. We're going to have one more lap of this race. That must have been literally like on the cusp. I think they must have been crossing the line as the timer hit 0. We're going to have one more lap here of this race. We're not there, JR. We're not there yet. I thought we were. We're not. One more lap here. Cheese Monkey will have another bite at the cherry, but he's a little bit too far back coming down this part of the track, and owing to the fact that also there's the Ginetta's got absolutely nothing on the BMW down this part of the track. Freeman has got to bring it round for one more lap here at Spa. Cheese Monkey, if he can have an absolute smashing middle sector here, maybe able to go for this one. As JR says, I had him all excited there. Sorry JR, I'm sorry. We got one more still to go. Lots of comments coming in on the stream tonight. We've had 78 people commenting over the course of tonight. Big thank you to everybody who's watched. If you haven't already, guys, drop a like on the video. 12 people watching, only 9 likes. Let's get the video to 12 likes. No reason why we shouldn't have 12 likes. Evan there in the comments says, what a race. I think Evan might have finished there, as he's got a drive-through penalty. He's in the pits, having made that pit stop. Evan there saying, come on Cheese Monkey. And they're currently side by side, but Cheese Monkey's done it. Cheese Monkey's ahead of Freeman. Coming down the hill, he's got the move done coming into Pouon. He must have got the move done coming out of turn 11 there, because Cheese Monkey has got the move done on the final lap of the race. The unbelievable scenes here at Spa. Round 8 of the season, the championship leader's gone and nicked it here on the last lap. Freeman has led every lap up to this point, and Cheese Monkey's just gone and ducked underneath them and got the move done around the outside of Pouon. And I don't think Freeman's going to have anything left here, unless he keeps himself close coming out of Stavolo. He gets a big slide there though, all over that curb. Cheese Monkey, I think, has left it until the very last lap, and I thought that they were going to be finishing the race on the previous lap, to be honest, because the clock was literally at 0 as they crossed the line. Somehow the game awarded them one more lap in this race, and Cheese Monkey has taken his lifeline, and he's gone and taken the win here. Cheese Monkey in towards the final couple of corners, up towards the bus stop chicane. The championship leader led this championship by 13 points coming into this round. He's going to come away from Spa with a 17-point lead, and it's going to really put the pressure on Freeman to try and close that gap towards the end of the season. Can he do it over the last 4 races? Cheese Monkey up towards the line. It's going to take the victory, and it is a brilliant win from Cheese Monkey. He fought tooth and nail for that, and is a deserved winner tonight. Commiserations to Freeman. He led the whole race up to the last lap there. He's going to be so frustrated with that. Xander Fander takes the final podium spot there in 3rd. But what a battle between those two, between Freeman and Cheese Monkey, as Freeman lost that lead on the last lap. Cheese Monkey, to be fair, stuck to the task, never gave up, never stopped believing, and ultimately gets the reward for it. 85 comments on the stream, guys. Big thank you to everybody who's joined us tonight, as it's obviously we've got Evan is also chiming in tonight. He's what a race, he says. He'll be absolutely delighted to see that Cheese Monkey's gone and grabbed that win. Guitar Rich saying great job, congrats. Guitar Rich obviously very impressed by that last overtake there. David Snooky in the comments says great race, guys, brilliant to the end, well done Xander Fander. JR says great job on comms, thank you mate, appreciate that. We've got JR also saying well done to Cod on finishing in 4th place, managing to come out on top in that battle with John Jig towards the end of that race. 16 people watching the stream at the moment, guys. Let's get the video up to 10 likes if we can. There's 16 guys watching. If we can get the video up to 15 likes over the week, that would mean the world to us. But wow, what a race. Kodalungu 4th, John Jig 5th. Pete Bibb crosses the line in 6th as he just comes over there. The Lazy Camel is coming in towards the bus stop chicane. It's going to be a P7 here for Lazy Camel as he comes out of the corner, out onto the start finish once again. Marty says holy crap, what a race. Oh man, exhilarating stuff all the way to the end. 92 comments on the stream right now. Evan says well done folks, love being involved in that. Was a hell of a race towards the end. Lazy Camel takes 7th place here in this race. Nilsson comes over in 8th. Duke Martin there is coming up towards the line, and it's going to be a 9th place finish there in the number 6 Aston Martin. It's King Quinn takes the final top 10 spot ahead of Windsor in 11th, then Morphy 12th, Evan in 13th place, followed by Zalobra in 14th, and Snooky completing the classification in P15. Really enjoyed calling that one. That was probably the race of the season so far here in the GT4s at Motive, and the GT4s never disappoint, but especially tonight they have really delivered. Cheese Monkey is your winner. Freeman is going to feel like that one got away from him, I know that for sure, and really I'm gutted for him, but honestly that battle at the end, it had me us guessing all the way until the end of the race, and I really enjoyed watching that, just for the sheer excitement and unpredictability. I really enjoyed that. But Cheese Monkey, Freeman and Xander Fander, your podium finishers, those three in a class of their own, miles ahead of Kodalungu in 4th. John Jig staged a late rally to try and come back at Kodalungu at the end, but couldn't quite get there. Finished 2.5 seconds behind. Pete Bibb in 6th, with the Lazy Camel in 7th, a little way behind him. Nilsson 8th. Decent comeback after a shaky start to the race. Duke Martin in 9th, ahead of King Quinn, competes in the top 10. Windsor in 11th place. SMT Morphy 12th, the last to hit the checker flag as Evan got a drive through, but will still be classified as he completed 80% of the race. SMT Zaloba retired a long way out. Snooky retired after 3 laps. Obviously down to that first, mainly stemming from that first lap collision that he had, which we'll probably see more of. We probably haven't heard the end of that one, to say the least, but we'll keep our eyes on that one. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's watched the stream tonight. Thank you to all the drivers as well, and once again a huge congratulations to Cheese Monkey. We'll see you all next week for the GT4s, guys. Also join us on Friday night, or actually join us for XL's F1 League pretty shortly, because I'll be commentating on that more or less now. But if you're a Motive fan, join us on Friday night, 6:45 in the evening on Friday night. We'll also have touring car action on Project Cars 2 on Friday night, and we should have some LMP2 action on Saturday night, followed by the GTEs returning as usual on Sunday, along with the GT3s back on ACC. But I will see you very soon, guys. Have a great evening.